Yeah. I mean, it seems as though in the younger generations, probably for sure millennials and Gen Z, not sure that this is necessarily true of Generation X. There's there's this idea that I don't know, I think that people have really confused expectations of what life is supposed to be like. And I'm picking this up based on what I view as a huge problem of overdiagnosing things like anxiety and depression. To me, it's like, of course I've experienced depression, of course I've gone through breakups or, you feel unhappy with your life. Like I've gone through, long periods in my life where I would this is when I was younger, like cry on the bus on the way to work. And I was like, okay, I really hate this job. I need to change my life. Like I'm really unhappy with what is happening with my life now. I need to make a change. But I did, like I never ever thought I need pills. There must be something wrong with my brain. I need medication. Instead, I just left Vancouver and went to go live in a tent on the island for a while. That resolved my depression. But do you see has something really changed in society, or am I just imagining this where people are have a totally different perspective on, first of all, how to deal with bad feelings, depression, stress, things like that. But also that, the solution is necessarily a medical one, and also that I don't know, like that they're expecting to feel happy every day or something.
Yeah, you're certainly not crazy. I'm 46 years old, so I actually witnessed this transition. I grew up, young kid in the 80s, graduated high school in the early 90s, and I saw this transition into American culture where they started to change the way that we actually spoke about and thought about human emotions. It's almost like, Meghan, right now, the word sad doesn't exist. It's like they've taken it out of the dictionary. So the younger generation, and I've got 3 kids, so anytime someone experiences sadness, they automatically call it, I'm depressed. And so it just changes the way that they communicate their experience. So going back to your story, you realize that your emotions fit the facts of the situation. Like what we feel is genetically, biologically, evolutionarily built to be able to serve us. They're not symptoms of an illness. That aversive response and reaction that we have, it's to drive us to be able to face problems, overcome them, make important changes. If you hate your job and you hate your life, you should feel really shitty about that. And if you understand that you feel that way because of the way your life currently is, then it's going to drive you to make changes. I'll tell some of my clients, hey, listen, if I could give you a pill right now and it would take away any negative emotion that you ever feel the rest of your life, you'll never be sad, you'll never be angry, you'll never be irritable, you won't grieve, would you take it?
I would not. Personally, no.
Of course you wouldn't, right? You wouldn't even be human anymore. It would be
No.
so difficult to even generate empathy for others. And interesting enough, we have really good evidence that antidepressants decrease empathy because they create this emotional numbness and detachment that exists.
Interesting.
And listen, everything works in concert with each other. So if we're going to feel sad or depressed, it actually heightens other experiences in our life when we experience them. Like, can we truly love if we don't really understand loss? Like, can we truly experience the success of something that was really hard if we didn't experience the fear and anxiety and being able to do it? Like, there's real benefits in doing difficult and hard things. One experience intensifies and works with the other, and that's normal. And what has happened, and I think it's the education system is a part of it, the media, the marketing, is they've really kind of told us that when you have a negative emotion, there's something wrong with you. And we haven't been able to develop the emotional literacy and the coping skills to be able to respond to those emotions in effective ways, even communicate them or understand them. And so, as a psychologist in the practice that I have, when we're working with younger people, teenagers, young adults, we realize that because their world and the way their brains work are so much different than previous generations. We almost have to teach that to them to be able to observe their emotions, name their emotions, be able to be attentive and mindful of why they may feel that way. Because there's such this overwhelming judgment and invalidation of the experience, and they just want to get rid of it. They just want to escape what they're feeling. And what does that lead to? It leads to substance abuse, turning to a drug, not understanding your emotions to solve problems. It's a whole different world that I've been able to observe, both from a young man myself into entering into this field and now being a clinical psychologist, which I think provides me now the opportunity to speak out on this, because I'm right there in the space in my lifespan where I remember when there was no internet. I remember when there was no cell phones, no social media, and now it's completely different.